Hey everyone, if you use the Lich program and have not upgraded to at least 5.6, check out episode 2 of this Ruby Dungeon series. If you log in and see a date message error like the one on screen, just use the command lich5-update --script=repository.lic. This error could show up in the lnet script too. Not everyone uses that script, but if you do and need a fix, just download the most current version with the command --repository download lnet.lic --author =Alanthea Special thank you and shoutouts to Taisong, Doug, and the EO team. Now on to today's episode. Welcome to the Ruby Dungeon, a series teaching how to code Ruby scripts that can be run with the Lich program. Episode 3 covered programs needed, and we made our first script using comments, echo, respond, put, fput, char.name, and if-else statements. Today we're going to look at the Lich scripting reference page, talk about Infomon, and show more coding examples from Huntpro. Let's head over to that Lich scripting reference page. The link will of course be down in the description. Sharp-eyed viewers will see that number 2 is echo and 3 is respond. This page is going to become your new home. Bookmark it. We learned put and fput, but there's also a multi-fput that lets you enter multiple commands in one line. There are tons of different ways to write scripts. Using 3 fputs and 1 multi-fput for 3 commands can still get you to the same end result. If you caught the CMD scripting videos, the move command from there works the same way in Lich Ruby. You'll see match options as well. If you really want to learn how to code, just immerse yourself into the commands, read scripts made by other players, and think about different simple projects you could create and then make them. As a self-taught learner, there has been much trial and error. There's a lot of stuff I still don't know, but with time and effort, I can and I will. We will be revisiting this scripting page often throughout the Ruby Dungeon series and covering examples of most, if not all, commands on this page over time. For now, let's talk about Infomon. This used to be a script that ran while you played. It helps keep track of things like your skills, level, and name. It allows you to use more advanced commands like char.name. In one of the revisions to the Lich platform, the Alanthea Online team built that functionality into the main program, so you don't need to have a separate script running during your playtime anymore. Tenured players may remember the need to run the fixit script to refresh Infomon when it got confused. Since Infomon is built in now, should you ever need to resync your data, just use the command --Infomon sync. An example time this could come in handy is if you re-roll your character, or maybe you use a SimuCoin item to change your profession and need to refresh the data. I surmise this resync happens anyways when you log into Lich each day, but hey, you got the option if you need it. The Infomon feature makes a lot of complex scripts possible, especially Huntpro and the future Polar Bear. One of the main reasons I want to redesign Huntpro is to provide a better foundation for advanced scenarios suggested by community members. It's a massive project as it is, and the organizational structure needs a full overhaul. Let's go ahead and jump into the Huntpro script. This is where Huntpro starts doing what I call logic checks, or handling expected, well, what if this happens kind of situations. For general reference, when you launch a script, it's going to look at every line of code, and then if it doesn't have any errors, it should start executing commands from line 1. In Huntpro, everything that came before the start of script area is instruction on how the script should function while running. It's instruction written in various forms that we're going to explore more in depth next episode. But for now, let's look at what happens when someone downloads and runs Huntpro for the first time. Checks to see if Intel_Huntpro is in your scripts directory. If script.exists, open parenthesis, single quote, Intel_Huntpro, single quote, close parenthesis. This can also be written as if script.exists, double quote, Intel_Huntpro, double quote. So if that script exists, nil, which means do nothing, else, run the script repository and download the script named Intel_Huntpro. Every time you start Huntpro, it makes sure you have Intel Huntpro first, because there's more instructions inside Intel that helps the main file run. You'll see checks for another script like goToName. This is an example where Huntpro has messy code. I'd much rather opt for a module command that handles all script dependencies rather than checking for individual names in random places throughout the script. Disorganized coding could yield problems down the road when you try to make a script more complex. The update check section introduces you to script.vars, open bracket 1, close bracket, downcase, equals tilde, /update/. So let's break this down. Script.vars1 means the first word the user types after the script name. .downcase is a Ruby command that means I want to convert what was typed to all lowercase. So if someone typed John in all capital letters, or JOHN with the first two capitalized, all lowercase, or JOH lowercase with a capital N, after a .downcase runs, it's all going to come out as lowercase John. Correct data formatting is extremely important when doing exact or approximate comparisons. It also comes into play later when you're working with integers versus strings and comparing non-compatible data types. So looking at the command again, this is checking to see if the first word after the script name is approximately equal to update. Last episode we showed you two equal signs with quotes for an exact match, so you can accomplish the same result here by using if script.vars, open bracket 1, close bracket, .downcase, equals, double quote, update, double quote. Both commands will do the same thing. It downcases what they type and checks for update, but the approximate match with equals tilde will also recognize something like updated or update in the world of fashion, I am a dinosaur. As long as it's one connected string, that's going to be the value of script.vars1. So if I typed update in the world of fashion, I'm a dinosaur, the approximate match would recognize update and fire just fine. However, the equals direct match would fail because it's only looking for update and nothing else. These are things you're going to want to think about when you're designing solutions to various logic problems. So if you want to make something lowercase, you're going to use .downcase, and if you want to make something title case, you're going to do .capitalize. You can use .to_i to turn something into an integer, and .to_s to turn something into a string. So here's a couple examples. We're going to be using respond. We want to take the value of script.vars1, make it lowercase, change it into a string, and then repeat it back to the user. In order to do this, we have to surround the entire command with the curly braces, and we also have to set it off with the number sign and keep it all inside the double quotation. A string can be a word or a number, so typing 6 or the number 6 will repeat what you type. A string containing letters will always become 0 if you use .to_i. .to_i will change any value containing a letter to a 0 result. So typing script name 6 tells Lich Ruby the value stored in script.vars1 is a number, and we can now do things like add, subtract, multiply, and divide. If you type pizza or pizza 9000, the value resets to 0. This type of solution can be used to error trap your project. In Huntpro, I have a section where I want the user to only type a number 1 through 9. So I could use something like this. If script.vars1.to_i is less than 0, we're going to respond, no need to be negative, try one of the numbers 1 through 9. Else if the script vars1 is equal to 0, we'll say, instead of a word or 0, please use one of the numbers 1 through 9. If script.vars1 is greater than or equal to 10, we're going to say 10 or more, that's not included yet. Please use one of the numbers 1 through 9. And for all other situations, we're going to respond, you use one of the numbers 1 through 9. This type of code would cover all scenarios. If a negative number was used, a word was used, or if the user typed 10 or more, the only possible whole number integers left are 1 through 9. Another way to write this would be double equals, but because we declared the value of an integer, we don't need and won't use quotations. Here you see we use the equals and list out all the numbers 0 through 9. If you try to use .to_i and an equals tilde approximate match together, you're going to get an error. If you take off the .to_i, you can create some bad code that looks like this. So now if I type any positive number, it's going to detect a match. Words, zeros, and negatives will be trapped under the else area. But all positives work because it wants to find an approximate match for that initial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And when it does, it's a success regardless of any extra numbers added. Next time on the Ruby Dungeon, we talk dry, modules, proc calls, and settings. See you then.